Good morning, one and all. I am Durin Karthik, working as assistant professor in the civil engineering department of PSNA College of Engineering and Technology. Today, I am going to deal a topic called as leveling, which is a part of surveying, and we will go for it. So initially, to start with, leveling is a art of surveying which determines different parts of elevation. So what you call as elevation is, you will be referring what is the distance or height of a particular point with reference to something. Say example, I can refer that I am holding the chalk piece at a level of say so much centimeters from my height, from the place where I am standing, right? So this is just an example of what you mean by elevation, right? So when you consider our earth is a circle. Hope you all know how earth is initially defined as spherical. So somebody has started sailing from a point called as a point at Spain, and they have started to travel towards one direction, and as soon as they reached Spain, so this made us this gave a new perspective that earth is not flat and it is curved, right? So you have something called as curvature in the earth. So now we will deal with elevation. So what we make as references, we call something as mean sea level, and we make it as 0, or that is defined as the reference point for all of these things, right? So if you are going to measure up a length from points A and B, right? So you are going to make use of a scale. You will be measuring from point A to point B using certain measurements, say centimeters, right? So this length is measured by taking A point as reference, which is as 0, right? Likewise, we are going to have mean sea level as 0. So let us have something. So as you know, our earth has mountains, it has trenches, and it has water bodies filled, right? So this water body, so whenever you fill water in a container, you may see that it gets a leveled surface. Similarly, to check whether the surface is leveled or not, you use a split level. You use a split bubble tube, right? It has a bubble at center. It defines what makes it horizontal or not. So likewise, you will be having this as your sea level or sea surface, and I am going to refer this as mean sea level, right? Okay, let us see what are all the terms which we need to focus while we deal with leveling. So first one is, you will be referring something as benchmark, you will be referring something as reduced level, that is RL. Then the most discussed topic, MSL, right? Mean sea level. We will discuss them one by one, right? To start with mean sea level, I will choose mean sea level to start with. So we are referring mean sea level now. So regarding mean sea level, what they do is, initially you know that India is a country which got its independence on 1947 from Britain. So before that, our country as well as Pakistan was together called as a single country. So why I am saying this is, initially this mean sea level is being measured at Karachi, which is located at Pakistan, and later around 1950s we have shifted that to Mumbai, right? So while we deal with this, what do you call this? Where do you measure this mean sea level and all? So actually what you have is, you have something called as moon, which is the natural satellite, and it is bounded to earth using gravity, right? So there's something called as force of attraction. So you know that tides are formed due to lunar, that is moon. Moon attracts water bodies, and else we get tides. So you know that a new moon day will have greater tides, and a full moon day have lesser tides, so on, right? So why I am saying this is, you will be having an instability in this water body level. Say let us consider this is your shoreline and this is your water level, right? What happens when the when the attraction is more, the level may be here or may be here. You can have this as A, have this as B, right? So A is the maximum sea level and B is the minimum sea level. So we are going to take a mean of this. And similarly, this level varies depending upon time, right? So we have something called as, we will be considering 19 years, right? For 19 years, they will be continuously monitoring the level of the sea, and then they will be obtaining what you call this as mean sea level, right? So you use a float to float, and you will be getting the values of those float, what is the depression, what is the elevation, and so on. So this is something referred as mean sea level. So mean sea level is your reference point, or that is the zero RL that you refer up, right? Then let's get to the next thing, which is referred as benchmark. So benchmark is something which I call as a point whose elevation is already known to me. Say example, if you are at Mumbai, at present Mumbai is the mean sea level where you get it. If you are in Mumbai, you can get it directly. But say example, I am at Dindigul, I am at PSNA College of Engineering and Technology. I need to make up a survey, I need to know the elevation of various points. So I should get that zero transferred to this point, right? So for that purpose, I am going to make use of benchmark. So usually you will be assuming certain values towards benchmark. So but this benchmarks can be found out by places such as post office, railway stations, etc., where you will be having a red color painted mark, and they will be mentioning what is the elevation of that particular point. It is referred as this is got by Great Trigonometrical Surveying, which is done by Survey Authority of India, and they establish these points, right? So if you are going to carry out something, you will be transferring that particular point to your locality, and you will be calling as your benchmark. So as I refer you, this benchmark is defined as the known elevation. Then coming to reduced level. So you will be having so many points on the field, and you will be marking them, and you will be measuring up what is the elevation of that particular point. So if you are referring some point other than the benchmark and you are going to call them, it is referred as reduced level. Okay, let us have a practical example. So I am sketching out something. It is not a wave. I am just considering this as my land surface. So I have certain undulations along this, right? So now I have told you that you will be shifting something called as benchmark, and this point's elevation is already known to you. Now I am going to make use of an instrument to transfer these points elevation. Say example, this is the point I am going to find out my elevation. Okay, so in that case what I will do is, I will have a leveling staff here, and the instrument I am going to have here is referred as a dumpy level. This is the usual practice we go for, and from here I will be having up a sight towards the leveling staff. So what do you mean by this leveling staff is, it is simply just, it just looks like a scale. It has a vertical setup having values engraved in it. So you have a staff varying from 3 meters to 4 meters, and you have several types of staff. Usually used staff is of telescopic type. Have you seen a radio antenna projecting outside? So one will be sliding inside. You can elongate it, and then again you can collapse it. So such a mechanism is available. That is, for if it is a 4 meter height, around 1 meters, 1.5 meters, you will have a cut, and again at 2.3 or 2.4 you will have another sliding point. So one slides inside it. So this is referred as a telescopic staff. Okay, so this is a scale marked with measurement starting from 0 at the bottom, and towards top it gets varied off, right? So I am going to have a staff here, and then I am going to measure up what is the height available here. Say example, you may consider this is your 100 100 meters is the elevation of this. So you have a mean sea level, and from here to here the height is 100 meters, right? So this is 100. So I am assuming a value of 100 here. Now this value could be obtained by viewing through this dumpy level. So what you have in a dumpy level is, you will be having a telescope and you will have a crosshair there. It has a adjustment setup. You have a crosshair, and this crosshair can be coincided with that leveling stuff. Say example, I am getting a crosshair here, so I can get the value of this, right? So likewise I will be getting the value here. Say example, this is 1.1 meters, right? So now I have a line of sight. So I am introducing a new word called as line of sight, or LS. So this is brought about by having a straight line, and this is brought about by this telescope. So a telescope has an eyepiece, an objective, a focusing mechanism to move this apart, which focuses towards an object. So this is the process. This is the reference for a telescope, right? Now I have constructed a line of sight. As I told you already, I am interested to find out the elevation of this point. So I have to erase it off. Yes. So I am mentioning this as my line of sight, and here I am going to shift my staff. I am going to place it here, right? So I will be getting a reading here, say 2.5 meters, right? So what I have done is, I have a benchmark here, I have shifted it to 1.1 meters. Now the RL of this line of sight is obviously 101.1 meters. So this is my line of sight. From here, this point lies at a depth of 2.5 meters. So this point's reduced level, which we are referring as RL. So this point's, so this is 2.5, it is at a depression, so you will get 99.6 meters. So this point's elevation is 99.6 meters. So you know how you got? So you have raised the level and you have calculated positive negative, you have added up the level, then you have transferred here, here it is low, you have subtracted it, right? So this is the means how we determine the elevation of various points. Okay. Now it is important to know this. So this is your curvature of earth, or a segmented section of a earth. So this is the point where you are going to have your dumpy level, right? So now you are getting a sight, and you may ask me why I have drawn this line of sight curve. It should be a straight line obviously. So but why I have this line curved is, this is affected by curvature which is brought about by refraction. So our earth is not filled with vacuum, it is not vacuum, it is filled with air. So this air is a medium which provides you a refractive property, and hence your line of sight suffers a curvature, right? So is this curvature, that is earth's curvature, and due to refraction are same? No, they are not same, they differ. And similarly this is your horizontal line. So you need this curvature, if I am mentioning this as capital X, and this curvature I am mentioning as capital Y, are same. I can have the instrument at the same point and I could proceed, but it is not possible, it is not the same case. So I am going to shift the instrument. So when I am calling as shifting the instrument, you have to say example, this is my first point, I am going to call it as A, and I am proceeding this line. So I may be shifting the instrument to another point called B. So this is referred as shifting of instrument. So in this case I am going to call some point as turning point. Say I am going to take this as turning point for my reference. So what I am going to do is, first initially I will be setting the instrument and I will be looking at a particular point. I will be taking some reading, right? Then again I have my instrument here and I am going to proceed this. Again I will be getting this, right? And say example, this is 3 meters, right? So now listen carefully. this is your 99.6 meters is the RL of this particular point, and you are going to look at the staff again, and this is 3 meters. Now you don't know the RL of this point, or you don't know the RL of this line of sight, right? So for that purpose we are going to refer a point whose elevation is already known, right? So at this time you just focus on this. I will go to the tabular column next. So you will be having your sight, and you call this as 3, and this is referred as your foresight, and this 2.5 is referred as your backsight. So I will discuss about backsight and foresight having a tabular column on the display on the next slide. So now you have transferred it. How will you get the line RL of this line of sight? So this is 3, this is 99.6. So roughly 99.6 plus 3 will provide you this value. So obviously 102.6 meters. Then as usual you will be proceeding off to find out RL of various points. Okay. Now I will devise the tabular column and show you how you will be writing out these things. So as you consider, obviously whatever the tabular column it is, the first column is your serial number. Then second one you will be having station. Then next one is backsight, B dot S. Then you have something called as intermediate sight. Then you have something called as foresight. So you have two methods of solving the problem. That is, you will be, say example, now we have got this by certain manipulations, and you can't do the same manipulations for all the readings. So what you do is, you will be devising out a tabular column. From that you will be using some methods to get out the value. Now I have discussed that I am getting the height of this instrument, so I will be calling this as HI, that is height of instrument method, or height of collimation method. It is also your collimation line, right? Okay, so let us get the values of this written here. So I am going to increase the points, right? So say this is a small a, b, c, d are about references, e, f, right? So now, so first initially I am going to set up my instrument at station A, right? I am going to set up my instrument at station A, and then I am going to look towards my benchmark. So first station is benchmark, and I am looking at towards it. So first, always when you set up the instrument and look towards, your first sight is your back sight. So you will be writing it here. So the value is 1.1. So it is in meters. So it is not required to repeat it again. So 1.1 meters. Then next one is this A, right? So at this point I will be having my intermediate sight A. So now the station has shifted to this is my first station. I am sorry, I have made a mistake. So station is A, and you are looking towards benchmark. So you will be transferring this benchmark at the remarks column. Benchmark, right? You will have this benchmark here. Then at station A you are looking towards A. You will get A is the depression. Then B, intermediate sight. Then C, you are looking at C. Then you are changing your instrument. No, you have D now. We are going to change the instrument. So this 2.5 is your last reading at this line of sight, and this 2.5 gets transferred here. I am going to write it in foresight, 2.5. So listen, so when you have a foresight value, definitely you should have a backsight value. You should have a backsight value. So the next value 3 meter. After transferring, I am having a 3 meter value, and this comes here 3 meter. So what is the remark you will write? So this is your turning point or change of station, right? So definitely you will have a backsight if you have a foresight, and if the experiment is proceeding, and at the end if you are finishing it off, you will have the foresight alone. So you will continue, you have E, you have F, G, right? So the next one will be E, F, and you will have G here, right? So this is the filling up of tabular columns. Okay, now we will see how these values are obtained in the field. We will see step by step procedure about setting up the instrument, getting the values of the staff and all, right? So to initially start with, we always have different types of instruments to go with different types of handlings. So listen, so actually what you have is initially there are three types of leveling instruments visually, which you call as first one is our Y level, the second one is then the third one is tilting level. So why we call this as Y level is, you will be having two Y setups. So I have drawn it wrong. So you will be having two Y setups, inside which you have your telescope housed. So initially this telescope has been placed over this two Ys, and they have a clamping setup such that to hold this telescope. This is the first type of level used, and the remaining setups remain same for both all the three setups. They call this as your Y level. The second one is dumpy level, which we use prominently, and it has your telescope fixed to your leveling tube. So what is the arrangement is, I told you leveling tube, right? So what is the arrangement is, you will have a telescope, and the telescope will be placed very close to a split level, a split level of greater accuracy. So this split level will be making your line of collimation. So we had your figure, and this line of collimation is made straight by making use of this split level. So what you have in the instrument is, you will be having a set of leveling screws which is used to do this. So you will be having up a tripod. Over this the instrument is there, and the instrument consists of 3 leveling screws or 4 leveling screws. So if it consists of 3 leveling screws, you call it as tri-batch. You have 3 screws here, and you have 4 screws, and you call it as tetra-batch. So how to set up or how to make the bubble to the center. So now you will be having your telescope as well as your level tube parallel to any 2 of your screws, and then you will be rotating both of them inward or both of them outward. Like rotating this you will do. So what actually happens is, consider this is your leveling tube, and you have screws on the either side. So when a screw is rotated, what happens is, the central spindle holding the screw will be moving up or down. So if the screws are rotated in opposite directions, what happens is, you consider this is your center, either the spindle moves down in this case and moves up in this case. This is the rotation possible, while inward or moving outward, what happens? The reverse may happen. So you may, if consider this is your tube, it may move down or it may do up. So your bubble will move to the center. So after aligning to the center, you have to switch to the other direction, and you have to rotate this screw in any one direction such that you get it in the center. So after getting this, you check with the other 2 screws. The same concept here, you will be making use of these 2 screws initially, same fashion, both inward, both outward, to get the bubble to the center, and you will have it towards your diagonal, and then you will make use of the other 2 screws. The process is repeated until you get it to the center. So this is how you get the line of collimation straight. Now we will move to the next one. So we have stopped here with respect to Y level, and the dumpy level is a simple setup which has the telescope and your leveling tube as a set at the same point. And moving on to the tilting level, what you have in extra is beneath your beneath your telescope, apart from your leveling setup, you will have your telescope. So say example, here I have my leveling screw setups, and then this is my central spindle, and I have my telescope here. I will be having an additional bunch here, and I will have a screw here. So after making this, I can move this telescope towards up or down using this screw. So what I am doing is I am going to tilt my telescope towards the top or bottom, and I am going to refer this as my tilting level. So where you use of this case is, say example, you are getting it in a steep slope. So you may be having your instrument set up like this, and for one particular site, so you can't have the horizontal setup to rotate on. You can have one particular setup, and you may be necessary to tilt the telescope alone. At that time, this tilting level is used. So you don't have this setup to be considered, so it is not used usually. So it is the type of leveling instrument which is referred as tilting level. Then moving on to the staffs, as I told you, telescopic staff is the most preferred staff we use, and how it has its reading is, say this is your markings. So it starts with 0, and then you will have a first marking patched out. So I am using the word patched out. What do you mean by this? One patch is darkened. So this darkened patch is of thickness 0.5 centimeter. That is 5 mm thick. So the least measurable value is 0.005 meters, right? So you will have alternate patches of black and white or black and yellow. So the staff differs. So this white patch will be of the same length, and that is the thickness will be of the same length, and the dark patch will be of the same thickness. So the minimum readable value is 0.005 meter. So a staff can have staff reading can have the last value as 0.5 or 0. That is 0.005 or 0.000, which is 0. This is the least value you may have. That is the ending value should be 5 or 0, right? Okay. So I told you that we will move on towards how we will take readings. So now we will switch to the telescope. What we have in a telescope is eyepiece and the objective. So you have an eyepiece, you have a housing, you have a objective. So telescope is used to view distant objects, and in order to have a particular point focused, I will be using something called as crosshairs. So I will have a hair in this tied to either directions. So when I look through, I will be having hairs like this. So this intersection point is the point which I am going to focus, right? So you have eyepiece and you have the objective. So focusing up the objective is done by moving out the distance between these 2 points. So you have internal focusing telescope as well as external focusing telescope, whichever you may consider. So roughly you call something called as elimination of parallax, which is to be done after setting up the instrument. So now we have fixed the tripod, we have kept the instrument over it, then I am going to do this process. So how you should do is, first of all, I need this crosshairs to be made visible. So this is all about adjusting the eyepiece. So you have an adjustment for eyepiece, you have to rotate it towards sky, or you can hold a paper in front of the objective, and then you can adjust it until your crosshairs becomes visible. This is the first step. Then you will be focusing the telescope towards a distant object, and until the object gets clear, you will be adjusting your objective. That is you will be having rays passed out through this, and if the rays intersect, you will get the image. If not, you won't get the image. So you are going to make these parallel lines intersect. So I am eliminating the parallax. So that is what I am referring as elimination of parallax. Okay. So this is the next step in leveling. Now we will refer to the figure that we have seen already. So I will be making use of a benchmark, then I will be making use of intermediate points, and those intermediate points RL will be calculated by height of instrument method and rise and fall method. So initially, to start with, I will deal with height of instrument method. So this is your tabular column. First one is serial number, second one is station, say instrument station is A, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then your back site, intermediate site, and then foresight. So I will just fill up some numbers here, and then we will see the relationship towards. So I am going to have it as A, B, C, D, E, F, then G, right? 5 and 6. This is the total setup I am having. So the next column is height of instrument, HI. So I told you we are going to deal with height of instrument method. So I am having the next column is height of instrument, and the next one will be my reduced level RL, and then third one will be remarks. So now you see here you have a foresight and you have a backside. So this leads to change in point, or I am going to refer as turning point. So the station changes here, and I am going to name this as capital B. Now we will see the relationship of all these values. Now I have taken my first reading at benchmark, and it is your benchmark. So you have a value. If my benchmark is say x, small x is my benchmark value, height of the instrument is x plus a. So this is my height of the instrument. So I will have a figure here. So this is my benchmark, this is my instrument, I have kept my staff, first reading, right? So I have got this, and I am referring this as small a, right? Okay, this look like say small a. So this is x plus a, this is my height of instrument. Now I am interested to calculate the RL. So benchmark of RL is its benchmark, right? So it is small x. Now second case, my second value, I have B. So this is x plus a. Say example, I am having here, this is my value of B. So what you will do? You will subtract this, right? So x minus a is this line. Sorry, I have told you minus, right? This is x plus a minus B. So this is x plus a. So up to the next point, your height of the instrument remains same. This is the point where you will change your height of instrument. So here it is x plus a minus B, right? Then next one is x plus a minus C. Now you will not go for D. That is, yeah, D is your turning point which you get here, and then you have shifted the instrument here, then you have got some reading which you call it as E, right? So you can make use of this D to find out this value. So this is x plus a minus D, whereas considering this height of instrument, this height of instrument differs now. So we have seen already, so this is x plus a minus D will be this, plus E will be this. So what is this? X plus a minus D plus E. will be the height of the instrument here. So I am going to refer this as m. So I am using this m. So I can't write the full setup here. So I am making use of m here. So this E is used to get this height of instrument value. So which you call it as backside, right? Then F here. So what will be the value here? This is again m and again m, right? So what is the value here? So this m minus F and then m minus G, right? Hope it would be clear. Listen. So we have devised a tabular column and we have seen how the readings are entered, and using height of instrument how you got the difference. Okay, so is there a method to check this? Have I done this correct? So you have one method, that is say example, summation of all the back sides and summation of all the four sides. The difference between them will be equal to the difference between RL of the first point and RL of the last point. So you have RL of the first point, RL of the last point at the end of the tabular column, and you will have back sides. A tabular column is there, and four sides a column is there. You can sum up this four side and back side, and the differences will be equal to the difference in your RL of the first point and RL of the last point. So this is a check to go for. So now you may have a question that okay sir, we have this four side back side values and we are checking it with respect to that. If I have an error in my intermediate side, what should I do? So for that only we have the next methodology which you used to refer as rise and fall method. So your tabular column again. First one is your serial number, then station, then back side, intermediate side, fore side. Now we had height of instrument here, then RL here. Now we are going to have something called as rise, fall. Then RL, then remarks. So again I am going to have the same sequence. Serial number 1, station is capital A. I am going to have my backside as small a towards benchmark. Then I will have my intermediate side B, C, D, E, F. Then you have a change of point. So we will start with this. We will have the discussion. So now what do you call this as rises? So initially the benchmark's value, so we used to refer x in the past problem, and I am having RL as x. So now I am going to deal with rise and fall alone. So this A is my rise from the instrument. So I will be having this difference, and the difference is positive, I will be having it at rise, and if it is negative I will be having it at fall. Okay, so we are dealing with variables, so I cannot fill this column. So you will consider that it is positive and I am having A, and if it is negative I will be having the values here. So at last I will have the sum of the rise, I will have the sum of the fall, and the difference between this sum of the rise and sum of the fall will be equal to the difference in your RL of the first point and RL of the last point, and as well as the sum of your backside and sum of your foresight. So this is how you fill the rise and fall columns. Okay, so what will be the equation is, I will just erase it off and I will write down the equation. So the equation you will get, the check you will go for is sigma rise minus sigma fall. It is difference. Fall will be equal to sigma RL of first minus RL of first point minus RL of last point, and that will be equal to summation of backside minus summation of foresight. So this all will be checked. So while you go with rise and fall, you take care of your intermediate site readings also. So this is the advantage over rise and fall method. So whenever you go for a leveling process, you will be checking out both rise and fall method as well as rise and fall method as well as height of instrument method. Okay, so I will give you some additional information regarding taking the readings. So you have eliminated parallax, and it doesn't say you that at all times your staff will be visible to you. Say example, if the staff is very close to your objective, your leveling staff values cannot be clear, so you won't get the image. So for at that times, what you have to do is you have to have your pen and you have to move it over the leveling staff. So if you are, this is your leveling staff, these markings will not be clear to you while you look through your objective. So your crosshair will be visible. So you can see the staff, but this values could not be read out. So what the usual practice they will go for is they will ask your helper, and the helper will be moving out the pen towards pen or any other object. They may even use a peg. So as you move towards it, as soon as it reaches the crosshair, the observer has to say that they have got the vision, and the helper will read out what is the value. Say this is the exit the cross staff, and this value can be obtained when you get your staff close. So when this makes useful is, so you will have a setup, you will have your instrument. So you will go for change of point as the distance is greater or the vision is not possible. So when your instrument is very close, you will encounter the same situation, and at this point it is not necessary to shift the instrument. So it would be helpful when you go for a problem like this. Thank you.